Hi, hello and welcome back to F1 Challenge VB. My name is Mephisto and our journey through the history of Formula 1 continues today with the 7th and final round of the 1955 season, the Italian Grand Prix. It was held on the 11th of September, it had 23 entries, 20 of which took part in the race and there were 10 retirements. The race consisted of 50 laps, completed in 2 hours, 25 minutes and 4 seconds. Juan Manuel Fangio started the race from first with Moss in second, Klingford, Castellotti fourth and Farina fifth. Fangio won the Italian Grand Prix, Piero Taruffi came home in second, just 7/10 of a second behind Fangio, Castellotti finished in third, 46.2 seconds down, Jean Berra was fourth, 2 minutes 57.5 seconds down, and Carlos Menditegui rounded off the top 5, he was 1 lap down. Stirling Moss posted the fastest lap of the race, a 2 minute 46.9 second lap. Alright, so here we are in Italy at the newly rebuilt Monza Circuit, and boy is it fun. The lap starts off with a long run down into turn 1, a very long right-hander that banks to around 45 degrees, making it very important to keep your speed up. Turn 2 is the same as turn 1, and as we exit turn 2, we rejoin the more familiar part of the circuit. Hope you brought your periodical with you because there's a very long run down into turn 3. The reprofiled Curva Grande which you can now take absolutely flat out. Roggia has been rebuilt as well, the hill is gone and the turn is slightly more pronounced. The 2 Lesmo corners also had a facelift, careful when you exit Lesmo 2, you don't want to go too wide. Next we have Curva del Via Leone, a long left-hander. This is where in 1955 Alberto Ascari unfortunately lost his life. Next up is the final corner of the circuit, previously it was known as Curva Sud. It is now renamed to Curva Parabolica. This had the most significant change as it is now 1 long right-hander instead of 2 90-degree corners. But that brings us around onto the main straight, and that is a lap around the new Monza circuit. And here we are in qualifying, coming around to post our first lap of the race, and that is a 3:08.7. Not very good, almost 30 seconds slower than Piero Taruffi's pole time, and later on I come around to put a 3:08.3, which is, well, about 5/10 of a second faster. However, I was unable to do anything better, so unfortunately we'll have to do with what we have. And here we have the previous Italian Grand Prix winners. We've been on this list quite a few times. In fact, we are the most successful driver around here thus far, so that gives me hope. And we have Juan Manuel Fangio on pole with Stirling Moss second, Maurice Intigna third, Eugenio Castellotti fourth with Piero Taruffi rounding off the top 5. Next we have Nino Farina in 6th, Roberto Mieres 7th, Jean Berra is 8th, followed by Carl Kling in 9th. Luigi Musso 10th, 11th is held by Luigi Villoresi, followed by Umberto Malioli in 12th. 13th, Paul Frere, Jose Froilan Gonzalez in the blue-yellow Ferrari is 14th, Carlos Menditegui is 15th, 16th is Mike Hawthorne, Louis Chiron 17th, 18th Harry Schell, 19th Mike Sparken, Jacques Paulet 20th, 21st Hans Hermann da Silva Ramos 22nd, Johnny Claes 23rd, 24th is Peter Collins, 25th Ken McAlpine, Horace Gold 26th, 27th is John Fitch, 28th Sergio Mantovani, 29th Jack Brabham, followed by Peter Walker in 30th, 31st is Jean Lucas, and unfortunately Andy Higgs is starting from 32nd. So here we are at the new Monza circuit. Quite an interesting little circuit. I quite enjoyed this version of it. Hopefully we can do well too. Maybe win, who knows. Maybe not here. The car doesn't really suit this circuit. We don't have the top speed as some of the bigger cars, and this is not a bad start, by the way. I was just holding back because I know how the AI behaves around this circuit generally, and I want to give myself as much room to react to the AI stupidity as well possible. As we now come into turn 1 here, and you can see how banked this corner is. This is actually quite dangerous to slow down here, as we kind of have to do here because the AI is slowing down as well. But you can easily slide down if you are going too slow. And here is a replay of the start. Again, I was very cautious, trying to stay as far behind the AI to give myself enough time to react in case the AI decides to do something stupid. Hopefully they didn't do anything too out of the ordinary, but you can never know, you can never be too safe, so that is why I was slower on the start there. As the seasons will go by and the AI gets better, I will start having better starts. And here we have Mike Hawthorne, who crashes his Ferrari into Jose Frolan Gonzalez's Ferrari, and Gonzalez gets collected by Chiron. Here is a look at Gonzalez. He's collected by Hawthorne, crashes into the wall, and then Luis Chiron in the Lancia comes around and collects him as well. And another look, that's Chiron coming to crash into Jose Frolan Gonzalez. So those are our first free retirements of the race. We're still on lap 1, chasing after John Fitch at the moment. We are in 23rd out of 32, which is quite nice. Well, 29 at the moment. And we've just started lap 2 now, chasing after Jacques Paulet at the moment. We've moved up into 20th due to the AI being dumb. And here we have a look at Sergio Mantovani, who loses control of his Maserati. He kind of swerves up and down, hits the rail at the top of the banked corner there, and kind of gets stuck. So that's the end of his race. Lap 3 now, still chasing after Jean Lucas, and we have another replay of Jacques Paulet, who comes around, crashes into that Maserati, was trying to turn, somehow get back around, Paulet loses his front right, and that's the end of his race. And we now move up onto lap 4, and we are in 14th, interestingly enough, and that is Luigi Villoresi, who collects the Ferrari 555. Not entirely sure who it was, but Luigi Villoresi loses both of his front wheels, and he is out of the Italian Grand Prix. This is now lap 5, chasing after Ken McAlpine, where we were in 13th, and this is Carlos Menditegui losing control of his Maserati, sorry. He tries to turn the car around, crashes into the oval part of the circuit, and that's the end of his race. And here we see Peter Collins crashing into Jean Lucas's car there, and loses his front wheel, and that is the end of his race. And now we have a look at Jean Lucas, who comes out of Les Motus and crashes into one of the Ferraris, I believe it was, and as you can see, for some reason it spawned onto the track, because it should have spawned onto the into the pit area, but whatever. And that was Roberto Mieres crashing into the fence there, and that is his race over. And now we have a look at Luigi Musso, who crashes into the barrier there, flips the car over, and that's the end of his race. So we now move on to lap 6. We are in 12th, chasing after Paul Frere, who is about 30 seconds up the road. Johnny Claes is behind us, around 8 seconds behind. And here we see Jean Berra in his modified Maserati. He's going into the turn 2, loses control of the Maserati, crash and flips it over. Hits the fence and then flips the car upside down. So that is the end of Berra's race. Nothing happened until lap 12, when one of the Mercedes comes around to lap me, and look at how fast that Mercedes is compared to us. There's no way I could compete with that. And here we see Piero Taruffi hits makes contact with the Ferrari 555. They're not sure who that was, flies off the track, and well, that is the end of Taruffi's race, unfortunately. And here we see Mike Sparkan in the Simca Gordini, who comes out of turn 2, loses control of the Simca, tries to get back, drives onto the other side of the track, crashes into the Ferrari, collects him, loses his front right, and that's the end of Sparken's run. And we now have a look at Umberto Malioli, almost said Luigi, who was coming around quite nicely, however, one of the Maseratis there lost control and crashed into him, so that is Malioli's race over. We now move on to lap 13. We are in 7th at the moment, and we have another replay that is Nino Farina losing control of his Ferrari, crashing into the pit wall there, loses his front right, and that is his Grand Prix over. Lap 16 now, chasing after Paul Frere. We are in 5th, we are in the points, and here is Maurice Trintignant crossing onto the other side of the track, coming into the pits to retire. So not really sure why he would retire on the penultimate lap, but well, that is it for his race. And there's no way we can catch Paul Frere, as we now come around to finish lap 16, which is our final lap, because we are 1 lap behind, and we managed to finish in 5th, which is absolutely amazing. I didn't expect that. And what's even less expected is the fact that Hans Hermann won the race, Juan Manuel Fangio is 2nd, and Carl Kling is 3rd. That's the top 3 spots are occupied by Mercedes drivers, which is absolutely outstanding. I didn't actually expect that, because generally during testing what I noticed was that Mercedes would crash within the first 2 corners of this track. So the fact that they managed to keep it together all the way to the end is very, very interesting, and well, I'm quite happy for them. Not so much for Piero Taruffi, who was the only Mercedes driver to have retired. But yeah, that is the end of the Italian Grand Prix, the end of the 1955 season. We won the season, we won the championship without too much of a fight really, but hey, what can you do? And for some reason the AI is kind of insane on the cooldown lap. But anyway, here are the career statistics. This was Andy's 49th Grand Prix. His best start is from 1st, has 3 pole positions, has set 9 fastest laps. His best finishes in 1st, has completed 32 races, 30 of them in the points, has won 18 Grand Prix, 3 at the Indianapolis 500, 1 in Monaco, has 4 championships under his belt, has a total of 198 points, has 17 retirements, has experienced 1071 out of 1367 laps, has 5 bronze trophies, 3 silver trophies, 18 gold trophies, and as an extension 18 podiums. And here is one final look at the championship standings. Andy Higgs there at the top, no competition whatsoever. Robert Manzon and Juan Manuel Fangio share 2nd on 12 points. Then we have Leslie Marr and Hans Hermann in the top 5. And everyone scored points all the way down to 20th, which is held by Maurice Trintignant. So that is kind of it. And all the way at the bottom we see Peter Collins, who has only taken part in 1 single race, which was actually the Italian Grand Prix. And we also see Jack Fairman, who only raced in Argentina. So yeah, that is it for the Italian Grand Prix. That is it for the 1955 season. It's been interesting. I think that's not the best word to describe it, but oh well. Yeah, that is it. We won. I guess it's time to celebrate, although I don't really feel like celebrating because, well, the first 3 or 4 races were absolutely atrocious. But yeah, so the next we will move on to the 1956 season. New teams, new drivers, same circuits, I believe. Yeah, there are no new circuits, although the season will actually be longer this time. So yeah, once this video goes live, I will give you guys a couple more hours to vote for next season's team if you haven't done so already. So make sure to check the link in the description that will take you to the straw poll where you can vote for next season's team. I also have a second channel where I will be playing all sorts of different games. Right now I'm doing a playthrough of Need for Speed Underground, the original one, so if you're interested in that, there is a link in the description to that as well. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, stay sharp.